All right, hello. I'm so excited whether you are watching this masterclass about starseeds, galactic beings near live when it's being dropped in April of 2025, or perhaps you are watching it in a future time. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. Today's masterclass is going to focus in on learning more about starseeds, our galactic being guides that each of us have, really to dive deep in on this topic. I want you to know that, let's see here. So also, I'm Maria Service. I'm an Akashic Records channeler. I am trained in opening up and working with the Akashic Records, which is the energetic blueprint of you. We all have an energetic blueprint of everything about our soul, forwards and backwards in time, as well as person, places, things can have an Akashic record. So for example, I have the Akashic records for this masterclass open so that I can channel through clear information that's coming through today. I also want you to know I'm going into this as a masterclass. Okay. So I do want you to know the intent behind this is that this is not per se receiving a light code activation unless one comes through. And I know I'm already throwing out some terms, but don't worry, I'll go over things. Um, this is not a healing from your galactic beings. Okay, this is not a healing. There are different things where when I am delivering a healing within a session, within a something, I will let you know. So this is not intended to be any kind of healing. To be honest, a master class, this webinar, this thing that I'm recording right now, I'm putting it out into the ethers, but specifically at time of recording, putting it out there for members of the Awakened Soul membership is honestly, it's to feed the ego mind. Okay. This is the about. This is the ego oftentimes wants to know more. And something about what we know about being on a soul journey, a soul growth journey. And you can learn more about this when you go into the spirituality and intuition course with all those videos that I channeled. But in particular, I talk about soul growth and how we go in phases. There are times where we might go through some type of awakening, an event that makes us want to go deeper into our soul self. Then there's going to be usually a time of learning where our ego mind wants to know more. Now, knowledge is power, information is great. However, we can then know a lot of things, but ego can get stuck here like, oh, I just need to know more. Tell me more, Maria, tell me more. But that's ego driven if you're like staying stuck and like, well, I just need to know this. Oh, and can you tell me that? I need knowledge. I need more information. Okay. But we can't just be stacking up information. We need to be acting on that information. We need to be doing. So within this masterclass, I'll also share some things on how you can connect with your galactic beings more, how you can connect into your star seed of origin, some ways that you can get a more individualized, personalized reading with me about this. Um, but if you feel like there is either like a block in connecting deeply to your galactic beings, if you feel like there's a block with you fulfilling and carrying out aspects of your soul mission and purpose, um, whatever that, like anything block related, that's when you go into the next phase of your soul growth journey, which is healing. We are also here to heal various pieces. Once we heal, once we upgrade our subconscious mind, once we heal past trauma, either from this lifetime or a past lifetime, that then gives us the ability to step forward and really do the thing. Now, not everything requires a healing. So for some of you, I hope you'll take something that you learned from this masterclass and you're like, amazing, I'm going to go do. I'm going to go try to connect with my galactic beings. I'm going to work with connecting and tuning into my clairs to see and feel and experience the love for my galactic beings, whatever that is. Maybe you're going to go and find out a little bit more about your starseed family of origin, whatever it is. But I hope that you can take some action or get some knowing from this. And then also then ask yourself, how will I now use this information in my own spiritual practices in fulfilling out my soul mission and purpose? So there's just different phases, and the purpose of this masterclass is to help give your mind more knowledge, more information so that you can do what you need to do. Okay, to the stars we go. Galactic beings, talking about your star seed. If you're a star seed family of origin, I do want to preface as I record this now and as I check in with, as I mentioned, the Akashic records are open, the high vibrational light beings are open. For those past, current, and future members, if you're watching this video and if you're in the Awakened Souls membership, I have a contract to connect with other starseeds. So I know, for example, some of you message, am I a starseed? Yes, you are. Okay, so if you're watching this video, yes, you are. There's a reason you're here. You are a starseed, and we're going to talk more about that, but I just want to clear that up. Okay, quick big picture though, before I dive deep into this. Ego can also want to assign priority, rank, or importance to one certain type of being. Now, again, if you go back to the spirituality and intuition course, I talk about how to tap into your intuition and your clairs. Your intuition and your clairs is how you're connecting to higher states of consciousness. It's how you're connecting to your higher self and all these different types of spirit guides is through your intuitive channel. So again, I encourage you, if you haven't watched just some of the excellent videos that are in the spirituality and intuition, kind of like the 101, course, those videos, they are a great starting point. And now today's conversation, we're talking about connecting with guides, but specifically star beings, galactic beings. But just because this is kind of the first one of this video of this kind, as I'm at least currently dropping it, if you're watching it real time, April of 2025, I realize there hasn't been a specific video yet on ancestors or angels or all these other different type of guides, but this is not to say that I didn't do this out of rank or importance. So what I do not intend here is for you to be like, the star beings, the galactic beings, they are the most important. I can ignore all my other guides. That's not the case, especially if you have been through my intuition mastery program, Higher Self Awakening, where I help women do the deep quantum healing so that you can actually deeply connect with your intuitive channel and have two-way conversations with your guides. For women who you feel like there's a block there, it's often because if you have a strong ego, a subconscious mind that's not fully allowing you to access your intuition, and or past life trauma that's keeping you from fully accessing your intuition. Okay, so if you've been through Higher Self Awakening with me, you also know that I coach my clients on, initially, I just want you to tap into your collective. Ego likes to get hung up on, like, who am I specifically talking to? Which guide am I working with right now? And while that's fine and well, I don't want you to pigeonhole yourself or limit the information, the knowledge, the higher wisdom that you might receive just because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who specifically to call in. It's fine. It's why I would rather have you call in your collective. So if you've worked with me, if you've been on a meditation with me or whatnot, I am typically asking you to call in your collective high vibrational spirit guide team and or your higher self. So it's including all of this. You're surrounded 365 degrees by the presence of all of these beings. Now, yes, I will say each of us carries our own unique soul expression. Some of you may have a deeper connection and have cultivated a deeper connection in past lives to, let's say, elementals, which are like nature elements, Gaia, Mother Earth, plants, things of the earth, by the earth, herbalism, like you might have a deeper connection to that. Some of you might find you have a significant deep connection to animals, to whatever that is, that's fine. But I just want you to know you're always supported by all of these. No one thing is more important. Yes, specific guides can be assigned different jobs to help you with in this lifetime. And also, you will go through seasons of life where you might have a deeper curiosity about one of these types that you want to go explore more. So yes, well, I will say I have a deep connection, and I've always had a deep connection to the cosmos, to the stars, to astrology, the moon, star beings. Like, galactic beings are my favorite. And perhaps that is why it's the first masterclass that I'm diving into. And this is my birthday month, and there's a reason for everything. But with that said, I just don't mean to minimize the importance of our other guides. I also love working with one of my ascended masters, Buddha. Buddha has a significant presence in my life. In my home, I have two Buddha like little statues. So again, like it's really about working with all the guides, and especially if you're newer to your journey, I recommend just when you're sitting down practicing your own intuition and spiritual practices that you ask to receive messages from your collective, just so that they can then send the guide, the messenger, the love that you need, the support that you need, and it won't be like limiting yourself to one. Okay, so I wanted to give that context, but big picture today, we are focusing on star beings and galactic beings. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, let's chat. Our galactic guides are beings. I want you to know that these two words here are not, they're not interchangeable. So anybody, even if you are not a starseed, so that, and I'm going to go into that in a second, but even if you are not a starseed, anybody can tap into, if they are going through a spiritual awakening, if they are remembering their higher soul self and their 5D consciousness, if you're, whenever you're tapping into that, whether you've only incarnated on Earth before or not, anybody can tap into galactic guides and galactic beings. So I just want to say galactic guides and galactic beings are higher states of consciousness, but more than that, we are specifically, what makes that differently than another type of guide? So what makes galactic guides and beings different is that they're originating, like the message that you're receiving is coming from a being that's soul is in, on, or from another planet, another galaxy. Okay, so it's like our world is so, we're here on Earth and then we're in the Milky Way galaxy. But I was recently watching, within the last month or two, I've watched the Cosmos series by Neil deGrasse Tyson. I highly recommend it. Although I do think you have to like pay for the episode somewhere or something, but it's really good. And anyways, like again, they've proven, we know we are just one little tiny speck in like even the Milky Way. We're just, like there's millions of galaxies around us. Okay. So of course, to think that we're the only form of life is kind of silly, because of course not. Okay. So when we're tapping into these higher forms of consciousness to connect with the galactic guides and galactic beings, like the reason why we're saying that versus an ascended master or a different type of guide is because we are connecting to other cosmic beings, other states of consciousness. That's what makes them that. And as I mentioned, anybody can do that. You don't have to specifically be a starseed only to do that. However, for a starseed, it's going to be easier because your soul also has been on other planets. So let me actually speed up to that. I'm going to bounce around a little bit. I'm just gaining some guidance here from the guides. Okay, so what is a starseed? So galactic being is when we're tapping in with our galactic beings from other planets, galaxies, other areas in the cosmos. We're tapping into that essence and energy through our intuition, through our clairs, through our own abilities. So it's just like sending out the signal soul self to another soul self. Okay. But a starseed is specifically an individual where your soul has incarnated on other planets and galaxies. Okay, so you're not from Earth, you're not of Earth. Yes, you are living, your soul is doing some incarnations on Earth. Again, likely, like this is also probably not your only incarnation on Earth either. You have had multiple incarnations on Earth, but your soul is not even from Earth. Your soul is from another planet and galaxy. Now, the other thing is that one of the questions came up is that yes, because your soul has many incarnations, this is where it can get confusing. So I'm going to get to the next term in a second, but your soul, I could have had a life, let's say with the Pleiadians, with the Arcturians. I'm just naming different types of star seeds based on where their soul originated from. Okay, so like maybe I have had multiple incarnations as different technically star seeds types. So this is where I found some inconsistencies when I started doing Akashic records and then Akashic records soul readings. Is there would be sometimes discrepancy even in what I was getting, let's see, before I was an open channel, when I was getting readings from other people. I was like, I don't understand. I thought I was from this star seed, or I thought, oh gosh, I felt like I really aligned with this starseed family and not this one. I'm like, why the discrepancy? It's because you need to specifically ask for what is your starseed family of origin. Because otherwise, that's why you might notice inconsistencies, or why you might even feel like, God, but I really feel like I'm reading the description about the Pleiadians, that really fits me. Oh, and Lemurians, that really, whatever. Anyways, like, you have a bit of an affinity to multiple starseed groups, well, probably because you had an incarnation with Lemurians and with Pleiadians and maybe with Arcturians. However, that's why you want to ask for what is your starseed family of origin, meaning where did your soul originate? Then you can get a more clear answer. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but okay. So if you're a starseed, you've also held higher states of consciousness before, because if you've been on one of these other planets, galaxies, areas in the cosmos, many of them are more advanced than humans on Earth here in the 3D. Okay. We still have war, famine, and not to say that other planets have not had war and things like that. I just mean most have evolved past where the humans are right now. So I'm just saying you have likely lived a lifetime. So, and I shouldn't even say likely. If you are a starseed, you have lived a lifetime. They wanted me to clarify that. If you're a starseed, and if you're watching this, you're a starseed, you have lived other incarnations on other planets and galaxies where you have held higher states of consciousness, meaning you have likely been very tapped into your intuition and psychic abilities in the past. Okay, to the point where probably, like, I say probably because this is where it can depend on what galaxies you've all been on. But there are galaxies where individuals aren't even like wasting their time. Like okay, oh, again, Akashic records are open, galactic beings are here. They're like lovingly laughing a little bit at us on Earth because they're like, we don't even waste our breath doing this, like what I'm doing right now, which means I'm talking. I'm talking out loud. Okay. As humans, we communicate verbally and we communicate in all these different languages. Um, to the galactic beings, this feels like a waste of time because to them on their planets where they are, depending on where they are, and likely where your soul has been too, they just communicate literally telepathically. They're like, we don't waste this breath with one another. Like very rarely do they feel the need to open their mouth and speak, because they're going to just communicate telepathically with each other. Especially they're indicating, like, especially if you had like a family. So I say starseed family of origin just to mean where your soul originated. But they're just saying, even then, when you were on these other planets and you had like a family unit, oftentimes the family unit's only going to communicate telepathically. Okay, so that's what I mean by, like, you've had higher states of consciousness before, you've had really heightened, attuned, intuitive, and psychic capabilities. Okay, and starseeds basically volunteered to come to Earth to try to help humans, to try to help save this planet and save humanity, to try to help this planet shift from 3D hate, war, greed, unhealed trauma that's like running the world into higher states of consciousness, mapping back to love, mapping back to the divine one frequency, no longer feeling like you're disconnected from the divine one source, but remembering you are of the divine one source. So a starseed is someone who, again, you've held higher states of consciousness, you've lived on other planets and galaxies before, and you basically volunteered to come to Earth. Okay, that's a starseed. Now, as I mentioned, there are different starseed types. Also, I should have said this earlier, but I'm going to say it now because this is where it's going to come in. I want you to remember that we are trying to tangibilize ethereal concepts into the human mind and for the human ego to understand, right? That's what as I mentioned at the beginning, that's what this masterclass is for, to help your ego brain, your ego, your mental body of your mind in this human body, to try to help it understand, with the knowing that once you understand, the more you can do and align to your soul mission and purpose. So the point is for this to help you. Now, sometimes our human mind and our egos, though, it's like, Maria, I'm not wrapping my head around this concept. And this is where I want to remind you that is okay, because it's like I am trying to take a 5D concept and bring it into the 3D. And I'm filtering it now through then my humanness and delivering it out to you all. But with that said, I just want you to know things can get lost in translation, or sometimes people can like pick up a translation and maybe translate it slightly differently. And I say this right now because you can type in different types of star seeds into Google and you can find different blog posts, different pages, and you're going to get a different list of stars. I mean, there are going to be some big name common ones that are like consistent no matter where you click on, but you also might notice some slight variation. Now, I have connected with the high vibrational guides, the galactic beings that are here today, and the ones that help me channel forward my path in the highest and truest light. And there is a page that I prefer that they have said, yes, like while I may or may not agree with, like, let's see, how do I want to say this? This might not mean I'm exclusively working with this person, but I have asked the guides, is this page of information clear and true to the best of her ability and to the highest and best light and truth for the galactic beings? And they've said yes. So I just want you to know there's a guide that goes through with this little PDF handout with the names of the different types of starseed galactic families of origins that you may be originated. These are the ones they told me to put down. You can click on this handout on any of these names, and it's going to take you to a page. I believe it's her handle on Instagram is the Temples of Atlantis, and I hope her page never goes unactivated, or if it does, it'll be for a reason. But and I say that just because she has channeled some pure and true information about these different types. So if you ultimately find yourself being curious about a type, click on it or go to her page and read more about it. Or if you're in the Awakened Souls membership at the time of this recording, I'm also doing some channelings where I'm letting you know who your family of origin is. So then if you want to go learn more about them, go to the handout also near where this is housed. Click on that, find out more. But I say that because that's why there can be sometimes slight variations in what you find from this blog post to this thing to this thing to that thing. Okay. It's just, I want you to remember is that that doesn't mean it's not true. Like the ego will say, well, this is all bullshit. This must all be bullshit because this doesn't match this and this, that, and the other thing. That's not the case. This stuff is real. Okay. This is your soul remembering. However, when we pull a concept down from the 5D, sure, things can either get lost in translation or people can interpret it differently or call it different things. But I have found a source true that has been approved by the galactic beings. And with that said, I always want you to run it through your own intuitive filter. Everything, even from me, I do my best to maintain a clear, intuitive channel. I continue with routine quantum healings on myself or with my mentors so that I can ensure that my own belief system isn't, for example, like kind of tainting a reading, as well as I just stay consistent with my own spiritual practices to remain a clear and intuitive channel. And I do readings in the Akashic records so that I can pull the highest and clearest information. And even with all of that, always run it through your own intuition. Okay, but this is an example of different starseed types. Okay, now early on in my journey, the Pleiadians, they were probably the first galactic being, starseed galactic being that I felt the presence of, I felt a knowing with. And there's often a reason for that. It's because they are technically the starseed family of the closest galaxy near ours. So it is a little bit easier to channel them because they're closer, whenever that, you know what I'm saying? But that is true. Next, I channeled a book through the galactic beings of soul truths that they wanted us to remember. Now, I channeled that book through, oh gosh, the Pleiadians and the Arcturians. Okay. And so then I thought, am I Arcturian? No, because when I finally realized I had to ask the right question, what is my starseed family of origin? And I am of the Lyrans. Okay. So Lyran here is my starseed family of origin. And it was really beautiful because once I finally got that, one, I asked the right question, I received that information. I received a beautiful validation of that in the 3D. So that was kind of cool. Okay, so these are some examples. But with that said, I just also pointed something else out, meaning you might be here to pull through and share a message from the Pleiadians. Maybe they've got a book that they want to channel through you. Maybe they just have, maybe the Pleiadians are going to help you with XYZ, whatever in life right now, help you with generational trauma, like whatever it is. And that's fine. That doesn't have to mean that they're your starseed family of origin, though. You could be of the Cassiopeans, of the Cirrus, the Venetians, the Mintonkas, whatever. So just like how me, the Pleiadians and the Arcturians helped me write a book, but my starseed family of origin is Lyran. Just know that. Okay, so as I mentioned, I got a little ahead of myself, but if you are a starseed, that means that Earth is not your home planet. You have incarnated on other planets, galaxies, and stars. And yes, theoretically, you could have lived on multiple of these galaxies. You might know and feel familiar with multiple starseed galactic families. And it's because you have maybe incarnated on all of them or worked with them in some capacity. Because again, at the end of the day, we're all connected, even in the galactic. But with that said, when you ask the right question, what is the starseed family of origin? Then that is the one place that your soul incarnated from. And you may or may not have like a deeper affinity with that, or you may work with them, or just having this knowing and just knowing that their presence is around you is helpful. And then also, again, if you've been in higher self awakening, where we're doing this quantum healing to really clear your intuitive channel so that you have a clear and intuitive channel so that you can more easily connect with your guides. Oftentimes, I am calling forward the women who are in that container. I'm calling forward their starseed family of origin who helps us do the healing. So that's another space that they can come forward in. Okay, I just want to see. Yeah, okay, there's going to be a message working with your guides. Okay, so now, remember, you can be a starseed or not, but if you're watching this, you're a starseed. Okay. And also either way, you can still work with and connect with your galactic guides. It doesn't even have to necessarily be your starseed family of origin, although it could be. But you can just all again call in your collective galactic guides, collective beings to help you with whatever it is. You want to maybe receive love, maybe you want to receive a message, maybe there's something specific you want their help with. Again, call in that collective galactic being team. Now, as I'm on this slide, they're also so they also want me to channel forth this message. Um, this is the same. Hollywood movies, maybe you've gotten to this point of the masterclass and you're thinking, and I've had some questions around this a little bit before I channeled this. Is this different? What I'm talking about here, the galactic being, starseed family of origin, blah, blah, blah. Is this different than movies in Hollywood who have depicted like on ET? God, there's a movie with a redhead in it. Oh gosh, like Arrival. I don't know. Anyways, like, is this different than movies where we're talking about like aliens are coming to the planet and we're going to meet aliens and we're going to make contact with aliens? You guys, that is Hollywood creating hype around this. And I'm not saying that that is wrong, but what I want you to know is like humans are already making contact with galactic beings. So you don't need to like hype it up or sensationalize it, making it seem like a ship is going to come down and a thing that looks like ET is going to walk off it and you're going to have a conversation. I'm not saying that that's also maybe not going to happen. But what I want you to know is you don't like Hollywood sensationalizes this experience when actually it's already happening. It's already happening in people who are awake, in people who have fully cleared their intuitive channel so that you can deeply connect with your guides. So I'm trying to think of when I had the first contact with the Pleiadians. That might have been 2 years ago, around 2023. And it's hard to put it into words, but due to the amount of quantum healing that I have done, how easy it is for me to just drop into my heart. Sometimes it's within or even just not even in my Akashic records, and I can just easily, connect with the Lyrans. I can connect with the Arcturians, the Pleiadians. I can receive messages from them. They're surrounding this container right now. So if you're watching this masterclass, the galactic beings are close near you. And I always call in the high vibrational guides. Okay. I'm very specific about that. We're calling in our high vibrational guides. So you're surrounded by light and love right now, literally. Okay. But so like humans are already making contact. That doesn't mean it's going to be some dramatic thing where a spaceship comes and they land down and a little ET figure comes down. Okay. Also, like, people might be making predictions like, oh, by year 2031, we're going to make contact with aliens. Again, I find those a little bit silly because humans are already making contact with aliens. Aliens are galactic beings. Now, that is not to say, so aliens are galactic beings. Let's see, how do I want to say this? But that doesn't mean, so alien is really anything that's not of Earth and from Earth. And I do want to specify, as I just said, I am always setting the intention that I'm connecting with the high vibrational galactic being and guides that are here to support me, versus like I'm not just like sitting down and be like alien, any old alien, because again, the world is like there's light and dark. There's things that mean love and compassion, and then there's things that may want harm or whatever. So I'm also not just like sitting down and be like, sweet, please like connect me to an alien. I don't want to be connected with just any alien. I only want to be connected with the higher states of consciousness that are tapped into love, light, source, the high vibrational galactic beings. That's who I want to work with. Okay. So again, we just don't need to like sensationalize this Hollywood thing. Okay, I wanted to make sure, you guys, as I just realized, I'm like, oh, I'm running a little bit out of juice in my computer, and I want to make sure that this recording will save. Okay, so yeah, just be specific. You are connecting with high vibrational galactic beings, star seeds, no, you're a star seed, star beings, okay? Yes, the term alien is used loosely, but I'm still not saying I would just drop into your heart and say, I want to connect with alien, because that's not being specific enough, okay? And also, like, yeah, you don't need to hype up in Hollywood what it's going to be. I mean, sure, I'm also, again, I'm not ruling out that maybe something like that's not going to happen. But I just want you to know you can connect in with your galactic beings and guides anytime. You don't have to wait for some starship to land in your backyard. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through this right now, but I have in the handout how you can begin working with your guides, how you can call them in, how you can maybe begin to notice and feel their and sense their presence. So I will have that in the resource for you all. All right, a message from the galactic beings before I close this out. Okay. Um, I'm going to channel this directly from them. Humans, it is time to wake up. It is time to remember your direct connection and essence to source. It is time to remember that you have been tapped into higher states of consciousness. It's time to remember that you came to Earth as a visitor. They want me to repeat that. You came to Earth as a visitor. Earth is not your home planet. Thus, that means don't let your mind, your ego get sucked down by earthly things. They realize that things look a little bit kind of chaotic down here. Okay. And we need to hang in there because we need to remember that one, we are just visiting this planet, but we are also visiting this planet with an intent, with a purpose to bring higher forms of consciousness, to bring our love and light and our connection to source. And we can't do that if our own mind and ego is being bogged down by earthly things. Now, they're also saying that it doesn't mean to stick our heads in the sand. We're also not here to stick our head in the sand. That's also not true grounded work. But we need to see things from the bigger soul perspective. We need to see things from the bigger picture. And we need to have faith, trust, and know that we came here for a reason. And the more we heal, the more we tap into our essence and light, and the more we share that light, that is what is, will, and already has changed this planet for the better. Keep grounding into why you're here. Keep grounding into the soul mission and the soul work that you signed up for. Do not let your ego take the reins, take control, and convince you and pull you back into victimhood or pull you back into like everything's doom on earth. We may as well give up. That is ego driven. Okay. And so remember why you are here. Remember the essence and the power that you hold just from simply being a starseed, from being a star being. And they are calling each of us to begin connecting more with our galactic guides, whether it's for love, compassion, the next step on our journey, whatever it is, but make them a part of your spiritual practices of connecting with your galactic guides on a weekly, on a monthly basis. But remember that you are a galactic being and you are here for a reason. Okay. Whew, that's a good one. Okay, so some next steps following this. I want you to journal. Journal on what you've learned today and what do you take from it. And go a step further. Either send me an email or drop into our Awakened Souls Telegram chat thread and let me know. I'd love to hear your ahas and takeaways from this. We have a separate like kind of Starseed mini mind. All right. So check that out. Review the Galactic Guides resource and handout. For those of you who have also participated in the poll, if you're an Awakened Soul member at the time of April 2025, there has been a poll that you can select. Yes, I'd like to know my Starseed family of origin if you do not know it. Participate in the poll so that I can channel and pull that through for you. And then go to this resource guide handout, and you can look up more about your Starseed family as well as others. And remember that you can work with and channel the Galactic Guides anytime you want, okay? Just sensing their presence. And if you would like to go deeper, know that there's a couple different ways, and I'll tag them in our Telegram thread in the email that I'm sending you and in the portal. You can either purchase a personalized message. This will happen asynchronous. It will not be on a live call together. You can receive a personalized message where if you give me permission, I will channel through. It'll be video, a personalized message from your Starseed family of origin that you're meant to hear be revealed now, as well as a light code activation towards a goal that you would like to work on. I just remembered okay, plug that for a second. Okay, so if you would like to receive a personalized message, you can purchase one of those. If you would like to go deeper in your quantum healing so that you can more easily connect with your soul purpose and your galactic guides, you can ask me about joining the next round of higher self awakening or doing some one-on-one healing with me, which I have coming up the summer of 2025 if you're watching this live. Or if you want to go deeper on a personalized reading. So if you do want to book just a one-on-one live reading to ask more about your starseedness, or if you even want to know more about like your family and if anyone in your family is starseeds, I'm going to guess yes, but I don't want to say that. I just, for example, I want you to know my son is a starseed, and that's helped knowing that and kind of just connecting with his higher self and working with his higher beings when I feel called to intuitively connect in with that. So if you even just want to book a one-on-one reading, availability in my schedule will begin opening in May and June. All right, so those are some ways we can explore more deeply together. Again, I would love to know what were your ahas, takeaways, or questions following the masterclass. Be sure to drop into the Telegram Starseed thread. All right, have a good one.